Hello, and welcome back to Behind the Lights, the series where I go through Epic the Musical and my lighting design for Epic the Musical, song by song, and explain my lighting design choices. Hope everyone enjoyed part 1. It seems like you guys do and you want more, and I am always glad to do more. So, last episode we went over the rig, and we also went over the horse and the infant. This video isn't scripted, so I'm just doing this all off the top of my head. So that's why if I kind of hesitate or something, it's because I'm recording it in one take in live. And so since that video, I have done a few edits to my rig, but it's 99% of this thing. It's the same. I just added a few more lights for some other looks. That's it. I literally added I think I added 4 lights. And then maybe edited a few cues, but I added 4 lights, which is nothing. So, we are going to continue on with Just a Man. So, let's go to the end of the thing, end of Horse and the Infant at Q 16.5, which is what we are recalling currently. So, this is how we ended with the Horse and the Infant. And so, let's start Just a Man, and you'll see the first transition into the song.
I look into your eyes.
So here we have more stars added on the side columns, also from those front movers I was talking about, those 9 in the front. It's from those. We also have the added blue in here. As I stated in the last episode, blue is representative of Odysseus, but also other things throughout the show. In this case, it is not representing Odysseus. I mean, like, it can be, but it's not meant to in my eyes. It's mainly there to show that it's nighttime, it's darker, more solemn, more in his mind, mainly, is why I chose blue here. This was back before I found out that blue was Odysseus and everyone else's colors. So that's why you see white stars, which are normally representative of Athena, and you see the blue lights representative of Odysseus. That's why you see both of them here, even though Odysseus is here, but Athena is not. Unless we're going off of one of the animatics where Athena is watching this in owl form. So technically, if you want to go through that, it can be both. But for me, it's just nighttime with stars. That's all I went for. Then we have the spotlight, and you may have noticed there's a slight light added here. Let me scoot over here. You can see I added a little gobo here, rotating around. If I quickly move this over, it's going to change quality real quick. Give me a real quick second, guys. Remember, I don't plan these out. All right, let me pull up my... Okay, Just a Man. There we are. And then back to full screen. Yep. There we are. It's weird because I'm not super used to moving around in this software, yet I am. There's the bug. There we are. So that's just added to add a tiny little effect to what Odysseus is and like his feelings and whatnot. It's not super noticeable from down below, of course, but up above you can see it. And so it's just a little thing of like, it's like a mini hurricane in his mind, I would say. And so that's why I kind of added it. It's just to add basically it's just there to add texture. That's all it is. And then you can also see the stars, what it looks like when they're on the stage, because you don't really see them from my normal view. But that's what they look like. And I believe I do have a little texture on the back that you can see there. Like a little blue texture in the back. Let's see, if I grab these blue ones and then I do this. Yeah, so you can see the blue texture there. We have the single blue light, which is just filling in the middle. And then the other two, which are adding texture on the side. Just to make it a little different. So then we'll sneak back to whatever it's meant to be. And so we have currently 4 lights doing stars. We have the 4 front lights doing stars. And so then we'll sneak back again. As we continue on, let's continue playing the song because we don't get a cue for quite some time. So let's keep playing and then I will chime in if there's something else I need to say.
Shadows haunt my days. Every man I've slain is the price I pay. Endless pain. Close your eyes and spare yourself the view. How could I hurt you?
Chiming in here once again, even though there's not a light change here. I didn't add a lot of light cues to this song. This song only has, 6 light cues for the entire song, including the one you're seeing currently. Mainly because I wanted to keep it simple. I didn't want it to be crazy like 600 Strikes or anything else. I wanted to keep it simple because I want people to focus on Odysseus and what he's feeling and the emotions that are at play in the song. Hence why I wanted to keep it simple, just blue and stars, and the spotlight on Odie. That's it. Continuing on.
I'm just a man who's trying to go home. Even after all the years away from what I've known, I'm just a man who's fighting for his life. Deep down I would trade the world to see my son and wife. I'm just a man. But when does a comet become a meteor?
And now our next light cue. Which, if you want to know, this is light cue 18. So there's more than 18 light cues, obviously. Because I have a few decimal light cues, but we are on cue 18 of the show. And so this cue, basically, it just adds in a little red. So that little area that I had around Odie, that hurricane area, is now red. It's actually gone from 1 light, and I can actually show this if I hop on stage. Yeah, so this is what it looks like from their perspective. You have a light there, and you have others. But if I look up, you can see, actually, yeah, so we have the main spotlight on Odie, or, sorry, the effect on Odie, and then we have this spotlight over on the right. And so if we go to the next cue, you can see that the spotlight changes, or the effect changes red, and then also we have 4 more that turn on. So those lights were off originally, and so those turn on, and those are very ever so slightly moving. You can see the beam slightly moving. It's not by much, which gives this cool effect on the ground. So the gobo is rotating and the light is rotating. So if I sped it up, it's basically, what effect are they actually on? 901. So if I take my 901 and I speed it up to its normal speed, that's what's happening with the lights. So that's 100% speed, but I actually have it on 25% because I want it to be slow and not really noticeable. So it's kind of just an extra effect added there. And so let's continue on. So the red, before we continue on, the red is symbolizing him slowly becoming a monster. I used it in here. I use it at the very end of No Longer You. I use red throughout Monster. Monster is basically just red and blue. Blue for Odysseus, red for being a monster. And then in this song, the blue for the night sky, and then red for him becoming a monster. It's just little symbolisms that I added. And so that's just a little thing that I had. I also just realized, I don't know how I never noticed this, a light was actually on. Light 42 was on over there. That, I had no clue that was on. That should not have been on. That was at 1, so it was just barely on. Out, update. Cool. So now if I go back in a queue, that's why. Out, update. Yeah, so the light was on there. And it wasn't meant to be on. Alright. So here's the cue we were on, and let's continue on.
When does a candle become a blaze? When does a man become a monster? tidal wave.
That effect's wrong. I need to actually fix that little effect. Because for some reason it marked, but it didn't go. And, yeah, no, that's right.
The reason become the blame.
Sorry about that, guys. I was trying to figure out if there was something wrong there, but there's not. Apparently, there's not. Let me go to 16.5 real quick. Let's wait for everything to mark into place. And if we keep going, we got the red there. And then yeah. So that was just a goof, probably because I was editing stuff and it didn't want to work. So next is when does a ripple? So when does a ripple become a tidal wave? We then have the back glow red for more of him becoming more and more a monster, like he's about to throw this infant, which, as we know, in the end, he does.
When does a man become a monster? When does a comet become a meteor? When does a candle become a blaze? When does...
So here, we see the entire stage is now blue and red, showing Odysseus in the blue in the side washes. Those were added after I originally programmed and recorded, so those are newer. And then we have the kind of like stripes on the back, kind of like scars, I would say. They kind of look like that. They're not really meant to be scars in any idea. They just look like that. But those are all the reds, and then also the red down on the stage level, all because it's him becoming a monster. And he's about to throw this infant and kill this infant. Hence why we have all this red and everything. And the extra blue. Continuing on. And then I'm going to pause real quick because I have to update that. So, yeah. So then it's basically, as he's saying, forgive me, he's walking down, and he's, at this point, on the third forgive me, we then have the light on him. And this is just so we can get in the mind of Odysseus and see only him and what he's about to do.
I'm just a man.
And then we have the really quick, just blackout. That is 0.15 seconds that I have on that light cue, just so it gives a slight fade, but it's basically instant. Where it just fades out, basically immediately. And so I just have the slight spotlight on him, just so we can see him holding the infant out. And then right before he drops the infant, we just cut the black, so that way we don't actually have to drop anything on stage. That's the main reason why I did it, is because you don't want to drop things into an orchestra pit if there is one. You don't want to drop things into the audience and hurt someone, especially an infant. So that's why I have that. And so that is the end of Just a Man. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was a little shorter than Horse and the Infant because there wasn't as much, I believe. But other than that, it was pretty filled with little tiny things. Next song is going to be Full Speed Ahead. I should be recording that one soon. I'm actually thinking of recording that directly after this one. I may give myself a little break because I also just did a live stream. But yeah, I'll probably record that soon, and it should be out soon. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. See you.